Walk with me.
Praise ye the I Am, for it is good to sing praises unto our God. For it is pleasant, and praise is comely. The I Am doth build up Jerusalem. He gathereth together the outcast of Israel. He healeth the broken heart, and bindeth up their wounds. He telleth the number of the stars. He calleth them by their names. Great is our God, great of power. His understanding is infinite. The I Am lifteth up the meek, and he casteth the wicked down to the ground. Sing unto Yahuwah with thanksgiving. Sing praise upon the harp unto our God, who covereth the heavens with clouds, who prepareth rain for the earth, who maketh grass to grow upon the mountains. He giveth to the beasts his food, and to the young ravens which cry. He delighteth not in the strength of the horse. He taketh not pleasure in the legs of a man. The I Am taketh pleasure in them that fear him, in those that hope in his mercy. Praise the I Am, O Jerusalem, praise thy God, O Zion. For he hath strengthened the bars of thy gates. He hath blessed the children within thee. He maketh peace in thy borders, and filleth thee with the finest of wheats. He sendeth forth his commandments upon the earth. His word runneth swiftly. He giveth snow like wool, and scattereth the hoarfrost like ashes. He casteth forth his ice like morsels. Who can stand before his cold? He sendeth out his word, and meeteth them, and causeth his wind to blow, and the waters to flow. And he showeth his words unto Jacob, and his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise ye the I Am. Excuse me. Psalms chapter 147. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this platform. Seems like I have a cough this morning. Yes, and we thank God. Yes, we thank God. We thank God. Yes, yes, yes. We thank God. He's worthy, our Creator, Yahweh, Yahuwah. Yeah, Yahallah. We thank him for all that he's done, even the great I Am. And hey, we thank God for his mercy, his strength, his peace, his joy. Yes, he's worthy of all praise. Yes, yes, yes. We're in, and we're going to say this. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, O my God. Establish me and my children, that we go not astray henceforth and evermore. Psalms chapter, or should I say Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. That was a prayer of Abram. Yes. Oh, we give God the praise. We give God the praise. And even with the hand clap of praise, we thank God for those of you who have subscribed and been with us since the beginning. And we thank God for those of you that have subscribed even here and there's about. And we thank God for those of you who are about to subscribe. And we thank God for those of you that have just subscribed. You're calling those things that are not as though they are. All praises to the Most High. Yes, yes, yes. We are in the book of Judges. The book of Judges. And we're in chapter 15 of the book of Judges. Yes, we understand that Samson made some foolish decisions when it came to the women. But this was all by design of the Most High. For he was there to deliver. In other words, God was to deliver because of the prayers. I don't know what they call it, judges. Judges pass sentence. But either way, we'll find it. We'll get to the bottom of that later in defining what it means by judges. But anyway, the Most High used Samson to deliver them from the authority and from the conquest of the Philistines at that time, because of their idolatry, and that they went with the Philistines. In other words, they were worshiping the gods, or the gods that were made up by the Philistines, which caused the Philistines to have dominion over them. The same thing when you go with the gods of your colonizer, or those in the land that you are in, who have colonized you or came and wasn't authorized by God. The Pope is not God. Let's get that straight. Not God. But they took it as that. because they had some foundation of the reason why they would take over the lands of other peoples. All right? Now, because you got a Jesus, and they manipulated the Bible, manipulated the New Testament as well as the Old, but more so the New Testament, in that it doesn't make any sense, period. If you know the Bible, even the 66 books, you don't even have to go to the book of Jubilees. You can find out that the New Testament is a blatant lie. All out heresy before the Most High. Now, some of the words are true because they come from the Old Testament. And all the other religions other than what is in this book, and then they take the identity of those who were responsible for writing this book, and they retranslated and rewritten it themselves to the point where it's believable, but yet it's sort of siding. They put pictures and everything in it to make it seem as though it's solely theirs. Anything look like them or close related to them is what they did. Now, the Philistines that took over, they were following the gods of the Philistines just like you follow the gods of the Europeans or those who came and colonized the land. You follow the Arabs who, or they say they're Arabs, they're not really Arabs, but either way, they have colonized and pillaged and done all manner of evil to the land of Africa, and even took over the northern parts, even up in Palestine. They took that over. See, this is why I don't have no joy, neither I don't applaud them, neither do I detest them for what they're doing over in what they call Israel or in that region. I don't, because they don't realize their ancestors have taken over that area. Some of them have been taught lies since they were children. Some of them have come to the realization that, hey, we're not the original people of this land. No, they have came to that realization. But we're still getting back to Samson. He says, but it came to pass in verse 1, after a while, in a time of wheat, that Samson visited his wife with a kid, and he said, I will go into my wife, into the chamber, but her father would not suffer him to go in. Now this is wrong. That's his wife. You allow his wife to commit adultery, and you cause the man that is with his wife to commit adultery. And her father said, verily I thought that thou hast utterly hated her, because therefore I gave her to thy companion. And he's lying right there. He didn't hate her. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. This is what God did eventually. And Samson said concerning them, now I shall be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them displeasure. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took firebrands, and turned tail to tail, and put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. It's also the same with the story about Hannibal, how he came up on the rough side of the mountain where nobody really could travel, and he began to, the Romans, I believe he used either foxes or he used some type of goats or sheep or something. I can't remember the story. I know he did set their fields on fire by setting their tails on fire and sending them through. And then eventually he began to wage an attack upon the Romans. Hate that he was black, don't you? I'm not talking to all of you. I'm talking to those who think they're so supreme. Their mothers and fathers have fooled them and puffed up their minds. And for this, God will visit them with a vengeance like never before. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and turned tail to tail, but put firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines, and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corns with the vineyards and olives. Then the Philistines said, who had done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite. He was also a Philistine, because he had taken his wife. His daughter wasn't his to take back from her husband, and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire. This is vengeance of the Most High. because he was dead wrong in what he did. And Samson said unto them, though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock of Etam. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah and spread themselves in Lehi. Not Lehi, Virginia, thank you. Or Lehi, should I say, in Pennsylvania. And the men of Judah said, why are you come up against us? And they answered, to bind Samson. We come up to do him as he has done to us. Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock, Etam, and said to Samson, knowest thou that the Philistines are rulers over us? In other words, we're colonized. The land was colonized from the day Canaan took over a land that was not allotted to him by the Most High, according to the book of Jubilees. And his father and his brethren warned him not to take that land, or his children will suffer greatly. And this is what happens. But the fact is, the head has become the tail, and the tail become the head in this instance. Just like all over the world where Israel is scattered. And when God is about to deliver them, it's like they're too scared to be delivered in this situation. Know that there are rules over us. What is this that thou hast done unto us? And he said unto them, as they did unto me, so have I done unto them. And they said unto him, we are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hands of the Philistines. And Samson said unto him, swear unto me that ye will not fall upon me yourselves. In other words, he was not going to harm his brethren, but if they fell on him, he was going to demolish them, because he was anointed by the Most High, and that he did not drink wine, neither did he cut his hair, according to the commandment of the Most High for him. And they spake unto him, no, but we will bind thee fast and deliver thee into their hand. But surely we will not kill thee. And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the spirit of the I Am came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became as flax, and was burnt with fire, and his brands loosed from off his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hands, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jawbone of ass have I slain 1,000 men. Can you imagine if you didn't have the strength of the Most High, how tired you would be to try to slay 1,000 men by yourself? Even though you were subduing them, God had to really possess your body, or the anointing had to come upon you that there was no tiredness at all. But because of the Most High, he was anointed, and that he could slay him by the thousands. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hands, and called that place Ramath Lehi. In other words, we can tell he slew a lot of men of the Philistines in Lehi. And now, can you imagine just, it's really an awesome sight to see men coming and him attacking men just with the jawbone of an ass. The jawbone doesn't have any fangs or anything, because an ass only chews straw, grasses, and stuff. He doesn't, and just the blunt force of that jawbone that he used to crush his enemies. That's something else. And he was sore. Now, also, if you think about it, even in the book of Jasher, where the children of Jacob fought in the land of Canaan, the people of Shechem, and all the power and the anointing that God put upon the 12 sons of Israel to subdue their enemies. Even while they were in Egypt, he did this thing for them. Yes, God can anoint you. I don't care how many guns, bullets, or whatever they have, but then this is what it comes to. Let us continue. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand and called that place Ramath Lehi. And there he was sore athirst and called on the I Am. I can imagine. And said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the land of thy servants. How now shall I die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? I mean, just breathing. It's hard when you're thirsty. I mean, even myself, I know what it is to be thirsty, as I was in the military and to a training program where you had to go by yourself. In other words, if you can't lead yourself, how can you lead others? And the fact is, I came upon this mountain and I went up it and came down, but all of a sudden my water ran out and I was down on the ground with heat cramps. But unfortunately, they gave us radios so that we could radio for help. And then there were passerbys of other potential leaders, infantry and all that stuff to come by, and they helped me out with water and stuff and trying to get those cramps gone so it wouldn't turn into heat stroke. So that was a good thing there. And now shall I die for thirst. But God gave an hollow place that was in the jaw, and there came water thereout. And when he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revived, therefore, and he called the name thereof Enhakkore, which is in Lehi unto this day. And he judged Israel. Now this is the day that they had really, this is not a translation, but they had written down what was pushed toward them. And so whoever wrote this, should I say, they also said unto this day. They wrote this, they translated or they rewritten it or whatever, or got it to where it made sense of this event that have happened. That's why it says unto this day. Unless it says I so-and-so wrote this, somebody else wrote it. But the fact is they were given the information by that very person or peoples, and they combined them in this whole thing. Somebody was running around as a scribe and wrote down the happenings of Israel throughout the land and what things that have happened. And these were collected into a book called the Judges. It was given an historical account of what happened to Israel after even the elders, after Oshay, even who we call Joshua, has done. Now, and he pledged Israel he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Yes, choosing a wife, you have to choose wisely. That she, even though she might be an Israelite or one who believes, but that she believes on the same thing you do, man. That she believes in the law, statutes, ordinance, and the Most High. That she's willing to change over, whatever. Your God is my God. Where you go, I go. This is what the woman should have to be. And if she doesn't really do these things, then you need to walk away. You need to give her up and say, bye. This is it. And with Samson, he made that choice, but now he's making another choice. And we'll discuss that in chapter 16 of the book of Judges. And with that, we're going to say, peace.
Walk with me.